Let's get your views on VAR of what we've seen so far. Sid Lowe joins us from Spain. Sid, let's start with you, shall we? What have you made of it? Do you like it? Do you not like it?
Well, look, the first thing to say, of course, is that this, in theory, is a test. This, in theory, is a series of kind of trial runs to see how well this works. Well, if that is the case, then you would think that off the back of this tournament, we're further away from its full implication in international football and, indeed, in club football than we were before the tournament, because it hasn't worked as well, I think, as they would like. Now, one thing to say here, which I think is really important, is that sometimes those who stand against video technology say, well, look, there are still mistakes. Yeah, it's not about making it absolutely perfect. We know it will never be perfect, but if you can minimise mistakes, then great. The problem is, of course, that this tournament, I don't think, has necessarily minimised mistakes. And the big question mark for me isn't so much the decisions that are taken or the decisions that are not taken because of the VAR system, but the speed with which it happens, the agility, if you like, of the system. And there needs to be some mechanism whereby this isn't an opportunity to stop the game constantly and go and check things. The game has to have some kind of flow, and that has to be built into the system. And if that means that you say, OK, there are some decisions we're simply not going to review. Why? Because it takes too long. So be it. That doesn't mean that it's completely worthless. If you're still getting the key decisions right because of it, then so much the better. Problem is, as I say, the evidence of this tournament is that we're not getting as many right as we thought we would.
Well, the thing is, and what Howard Webb would say to that, because we went to a presentation that he gave, he's, of course, in charge of implementing it in MLS, and he says, basically, there's only... If you look at the record books and go over matches, there's one game-changing decision in every match. So in that case, it's not going to slow things down too much, is it? If you look at it at face value. So in that sense, the argument that it's going to slow the game down, it shouldn't.
No, I think the only reason it is, from what we've seen in this, particularly the Confed tournament, is that they have taken so long that it's in your face. But how long have we been doing it? 3 or 4 weeks? I mean, listen, in 6 months' time, we're probably not even going to notice the time it takes. Once they get it down, once everybody gets in the flow of it, then the thing will go seamless. Because that's just the way it is.
Yeah, it's just going to take time.
It's time.
It won't be seamless if they continue to get the decisions wrong.
That's the other thing.
And that's the part I don't understand. You have a system in place to correct the wrongs, to make sure that you get key decisions right. And how in the world some of these decisions referees hide behind the ideas is still up to the interpretation of the referee. Interpretation of what? Some of these decisions were clearly wrong, game-changing decisions, and somehow the referee who got it wrong the first time is trusted to make the decision again and gets it wrong a second time. That is the part that I don't understand. The guy, we're going to VAR because he got the decision wrong to begin with, because he missed something, and because he's being told, bro, you missed something. Go look at it. And yet he looks at the video and again continues, doubles down on the mistake. This is when it goes back to not only interpretation, but the arrogance and the pride of a referee to admit, you know what, I've made a mistake and I'm going to correct it. A lot of referees are not willing to do that.
They'll get it right sooner or later. I mean, we'll have
sooner or later.
But I mean, you got to start somewhere.
Janusz, you tell me in those videos that we saw in the Hada play. Where is it? Where's the space for a mistake there? Where's the leeway? Where can I say you can interpret this in a different manner?
Issue, but would you agree that in time they'll get more decision right than wrong?
Well, I hope so.
I mean, so give it time. For me, it was confusing. Imagine being in the stadium. I can't imagine that people there even had an idea sometimes what they're reviewing and what decisions they've made, because I can't imagine that if I'm sitting there, certainly they're not going to be running replay and telling you. So what I would like to see, because I was confused watching on TV and I was listening to pundits, saying what they think is going to happen. If you're in the stadium, I'd like to hear the referee what's being reviewed and what's the decision and why, because ultimately if I'm paying all that money in the stadium, I'll be sitting there, okay, there's a decision. I have no idea for the next 20, 25 minutes, or maybe if I go to Twitter to find out exactly what happened.
You're talking about, well, we get more right eventually. People that say, well, VAR's taken away that human element. Well, we have clearly seen that human element, that human mistake that can be made is never going to leave, because the referee clearly got that one wrong. And the other thing, Ali, to one of the points you made, the referees are going to have to take some time to let their egos kind of go away a little bit, because right now it's almost it's almost a fight that, you know, I'm going to do this, and this guy up here is not going to tell me how to referee. So again, it's all to do with time.
Raf, it's going to be rolled out in the Bundesliga for the start of this season coming. Obviously, they've been trialling it offline, haven't they, for the last campaign? Would you suggest that it'll be smoother because they've had these trials?
I have no doubt that it will be smoother because they've had time to digest the implications of it, get the procedure right. I think a lot of the stuff we're talking about is that grey zone of when should VAR come in, should the referee always listen to him, when can the video referee actually take charge and say, you know what, you better look at this, these kind of things. And I think one lesson that FIFA will learn, hopefully, is I think to have proper refereeing teams. I mean, an Italian referee will have Italian assistant referees and the fourth official as well, possibly. I don't think then it makes sense to give him a video referee from Kazakhstan and from Liechtenstein, guys he's never worked with before, guys who might view things differently, who have a different way of communicating things. I think you need to have teams and referees who've done this before to know exactly, you know, to kind of trust each other and to rely on each other's views there. Then you don't get the decision where the referee thinks, you know what, I don't really trust this guy so much, and even when I look at it again, I'm going to stick with my decision. The other thing I want to just quickly mention is, of course, don't forget, you know, FIFA competitions, you will have referees of varying standards. Yeah. I think, you know, we watch a lot of prime football from the best leagues in the world. When it comes to FIFA referees, some of them are there for political reasons because they have to be there from that particular federation. And you will get the odd guy who's perhaps not that good, and even when he watches a Cameroonian play again on replay, still sends off the wrong guy. I mean, that might still happen next year.